Hey everyone, Cynics here. It's time for another episode of Paintover Pals. This is my series where I get to take a look at some of my patrons' artwork and try my best to offer a helpful paintover while still maintaining their original style and intention. Obviously, that can be a little bit tricky at times, but I shall try my best. Another quick note, I will be using Corel Painter for these paintovers and only spending between 45 minutes to an hour on each paintover. So let's get started. Up first, we have this painting by Kiki, or maybe it's Kayla. I'm not great with pronouncing names. Anyway, it's looking good and I'm enjoying the hair rendering. It's kind of giving off that lowish vibe to me. So I think I'm gonna have some good ideas on how to take this further. My first note is that the negative spacing on all these falling purple petals is very consistent, which makes it feel more like a pattern than an actual organic falling thing. Try to keep some close together and some far apart. Just stagger that negative space. Randomness is all about clusters. After that, the main thing I really want to focus on is really just the value map. That gold hoop is really popping off the page, so maybe we can use that as our jumping off point to cast some bigger light shapes on the surrounding forms. I think you hinted at it a bit, but I want to really go bold with it. So this also gives us a huge chance to draw more attention to the fun rendering style used in the hair and just bring out some bright waves of color in there as well. I'm honestly having a lot of fun with that. The only issue I have with the face is just the hue shift that happens in the eyes. I like to bring in touches of the surrounding colors into what is usually left as the whites of the eyes. White can be way too desaturated. Anyway, I think the flowers in the hair look pretty good. There is some meat left on the bone in terms of really popping in some ambient occlusion and bringing out more depth. The yellow top seems like a huge focus in the image, really stands out, so I would just like to see more shape design going on. The sleeve and the chest feel a bit too repetitive in size and shape, so I think breaking things up in less uniform ways will help a lot with that. It certainly doesn't have to be as angular as I'm making it, but the hand was a bit underdeveloped as well, especially when compared to the face, so never underestimate the importance of hands. The sword could use some much higher contrast levels as well, and bounced colors really help sell that metal material. Lastly, that butt is a pretty strong focus, so keep the rendering straightforward. Simplified form turning and some pockets of bounced light to add emphasis. It's really all you need. I think we're pretty much done with this one. I lowered the saturation just a little because it felt a bit strong, but overall I'm pretty happy with the changes that were made in less than an hour. Next up, here is a painting by Jim of a noir-looking cat detective. Not sure if it's based on anything, but I think I have a good suggestion for this one. When it comes to noir, I think it's all about dramatic lighting and super low dynamic range. And when I say super low dynamic range, what I really mean is just getting rid of all of the detail in the shadows. So I'm just going to start making all of the shadow areas more exaggerated in their darkness. I'm also going to make the secondary light and general highlights much chunkier and simplistically designed. That is just a bit for myself. I need to start simple in order to build things up again. So I like to start with those big, simple shapes. So that's all going well enough, but I do feel like we can build up much more drama with the lighting. Once again, noir stuff is all about drama and lighting, so I'm going to bring out the gimmicks. Some sort of strong cast light coming through a window or something can really be a great way to play with graphic elements and get away from the usual look. Once again, that just feels more noir to me. And I keep saying noir, and if you don't know, that just kind of refers to those old pulpy style detective things. You can think of Spider Noir from Into the Spider-Verse. Anyway, I like the idea you had with the purplish and yellowish secondary lights, so as always, I'm just going to bump them up into bigger shapes, especially on the collar. In the world of painting, we want to see shapes and not lines. So I like that better. And I'm just going to hit those blown out highlights with a bit of glow brush or color dodge brush to make things bloom a bit. That should be about it for this paint over. I tried to noodle back in some texture and detail here and there, but the basic ideas are there. So it looks like in the end, I'm mainly just playing with lighting in these first two. And well, I might as well keep that trend going. So I have this painting by Zahar, and once again, it looks solid. I don't have any major issues with anatomy or design. I feel like the only thing we can enhance is the sense of atmosphere and depth in this image. It's very singular in its sense of value range and saturation in each area, no matter how far away they are. So what I will try to do is really push two of the masks back into space while pulling the closer ones toward us using value and lighting. I'll start by making everything darker on a new layer, and then I can just erase things out to get more of a spotlight on the main figure, because I think that will help. I can create some separation between the masks in the back and the figure by just washing the masks out a bit with some lighter values and diminishing their contrast. Apparently, I'm just obsessed with rim light lately, so let's sell those forms on the figure with rim lighting as well. The masks in the back don't necessarily need rim light, but they do need some direct light hitting the planes of the forms that might face into the light. This should unify them nicely. The masks in the front can in turn be given hints of that rim light, but mostly just darkened in value as they come closer to camera. I explored the idea of lowering the saturation overall, but that's a personal choice, and it's mainly for the sake of showcasing the overall changes made to the values in the image. Alright, well that should be it for this one, and things are going well, but I think we can take a break from my quick dramatic lighting fixes and dive into some different methods of painting over. Here we have a mostly figure-based painting by Kyle, and things seem to be going pretty well. I think this is a good chance to actually focus more on how to implement design theory in something as seemingly straightforward as a realistic figure. An important aspect of design theory in general is just getting a good ratio of smaller detail-dense areas in contrast to some big simplified areas. And I really like to hint at this in how I paint skin. So step one is mainly just blasting everything back into smooth simplification with a bit of airbrush. It's fine to lose detail at this point. This is what is going to make the areas of contrast actually pop when you bring them back in, even when they're super subtle. For instance, the belly button is a great place to form some actual hard edges, and because of this, the abdomen will decidedly be our battleground for brushwork. So anything close to that area, such as the side of the waist, can let the brushwork show through with hints of actual hard edges. Whereas the farther areas, such as the legs, can remain fairly airbrushed and smooth. Not only does this create a sense of structure for the viewer, but it also makes the whole image look more rendered without actually having to render out everything. I adjusted some minor proportions here and there, trying to make sure they worked well, but really the only other major thing I changed was the shadows. You were getting a bit too desaturated in some of the original shadows, so I just brought them into more saturated reddish tones. That always helps a lot with things looking lively, and you never want your skin tones to feel dead or muddy in the shadows. Anyway, I think that's going to do it for that one, so let's take things in a different direction. This is a stylized character by Luffy. I like the colors, but I do feel like some of the line work is throwing off my sense of form and understanding. I'm quickly going to draw what I think the figure is logically doing, and doing that makes me realize that the poncho is messing with my perception. It feels like the angle at which it hangs down just tells my brain that it's following a flat surface facing us, but we should feel like we're seeing it from the side. The straightened leg also seems to have a very short upper leg, so I'm just going to adjust that a bunch and also just try to make sure that all of the surface lines feel like they're wrapping around a 3D form. Dealing with the poncho, I think the key is quite simply to move the angle where the collar hangs down a bit closer to the center of the torso. So in this pose, that's going to be on the far right. It really helps my brain process the overall image. So I made various little touch-ups on the hands and other details, but I want to move to the hair next. The idea of big, medium, small is generally there, so that's good. But I think the big and medium size are kind of mimicking what each other is doing a bit. So sometimes I just like to explore the shapes independently off to the side and see what might work. The spacing between the peaks in the hair also became consistent with that hair clump on the front, so I knocked that one back a bit. I also messed with the shape design on the bangs and other parts just to make them less consistent in spacing and make sure that it feels nice and organic. Lastly, I'll just be tweaking the facial features a bit toward a more subtle showing of the form. I think that minor change helps a lot without actually changing the original look or intention. Oh yeah, and I also did think some of those extra graphic white lines were creating too much of a flattening effect on the overall look, so I just cut those out. I think this paint over is a good example of minor changes that still keep the overall intention intact. Hopefully it's not too subtle. But let's move along. Here is a strange bird person by Nazca. I have no idea what this is meant to be exactly, but that's fine. Right away, I feel like the contrast levels can be finessed a bit, and as a bit of a bird person myself, it's important that the beak has a much wider contrast range going on. So let's start with that. I'm just building up the value range of those darker areas and lighter areas, but after messing with that for a while, I think those gray lines on the feathers were just trying to carry too much of the weight. So let's go all in on treating this like a painting instead of a drawing. I'll admit 100% that this could have looked 10 times better if I just looked up a reference for a bird, but I'm too lazy for that, so, I'll just do my best. The blue shirt is definitely melting into the background value-wise, feeling way too bright, so I'm just going to push that deeper into the midtones. And I don't really know what I'm doing with the rest, but I tried to bring back some of the ideas from the original and use more lines for detail, and those weird tendril things can just be pushed back into space a bit, maybe, and possibly just changed around a bit. But mostly I'm just rendering, so I repainted the eyes in a deeper tone and made them a bit more bird-like, but that's pretty much it. I think a full crit would probably just take note that this angle and pose are very flat, so that kind of takes away a lot of the dynamic character stuff, and I feel like it would be much more fun from a different angle with some dynamic shapes to help out. Front views on something with this much form are always tricky. Alright, next is this painting by Sarah, and it yet again looks really nice so far. In hindsight, I struggled a bit with this paint over, so bear with me. But the first thing that really stood out to me was the overall silhouette read was merging into itself a bit, with the bent leg and the blooming skirt and the torso all kind of flowing into one big shape. I do like the idea of the skirt making a lively shape, but I tried to cut it back regardless just to rework that silhouette read. You could potentially just create more separation using value and color, but I went with this. The leg was messing me up for a while, but I think the key solution is to just push it back further into shadow so the overall pose reads a bit better in 3D space. I think the face is nice and has a lot of personality, but it does come across a little bit monochromatic, which means the colors aren't as lively as the expression. Once again, a bit more reddish tones and saturation in the shadow are probably enough to make this look a bit better. And I'll be honest, I don't know exactly what she is meant to be carrying, but it looked kind of like a large tray or something, so I feel like the movement of the image could definitely be stepped up if there was like a slice of cake or some other random stuff flying off of it. I was too hesitant to actually make a cake though, so instead I'm just going to mess around with the hair and wing shapes. Oh yeah, I also changed the skirt again. It's not a good sign of my confidence. Anyway, the hat and wings were getting a bit too matchy-matchy, so I explored the idea of them doing something weirder. I don't know, they're still kind of playing off each other, but hopefully some of that helped. There's a lot of room for playing around with the graphic shapes and appeal of the wing and the hat, so you can try whatever you want. Just make sure they're not feeling like they're negating each other. Okay, I think that's it for that paint over. I wish I could have given you something better because you're at a really good stage, but regardless, we just have one painting left, and that is this one by Shri. some sort of anime girl in a wedding dress perhaps. It's going to be tricky to match this level of high key and low contrast, but let's take a shot. First off, you all know I have a tangent phobia, so let's not make the head line up so closely with the mirror. Actually, this will be fine because it lets us fix the main anatomy issue I have, which is just the neck and shoulders being stretched really high off of where I would imagine the ribcage being. I moved things around a bit and we're definitely getting closer now. It doesn't feel perfect, but it's an improvement. Anyway, the second main thing I want to focus on goes back to that design principle from earlier in the video. Remember that stuff about keeping your details in one area and letting it be complemented by big areas of simplistic space? Well, folds are a great place to exercise that. You never want folds to feel like they're just evenly spaced across the entire surface. Bunch them up in one spot and let them breathe throughout the other areas. I also tried to hint at some simplified back anatomy, but I definitely started getting a bit too contrast heavy for this image. So I had to keep pushing the values closer and closer to each other. One super easy place to just touch up this image is in the balloons. Balloons are very smooth and shiny, so bring in some actual specular highlights as well as some reflected light. A few very quick touches can just make them look far better. The table was also weirdly flat, so just make sure everything has form and mass to it, as well as shadow. I'll spend a little time on the hair and face. Mostly I'm just adding touches of form to the facial features, and a little bit of hue variation to the skin, and maybe just a bit of simple shading to give the hair more volume. I think that should do it. It's not perfect, but certainly a step in the right direction of what to look for in the future. So that's it, we did it. Another Paintover Pals video in the books. I would like to give a huge thank you to each of the artists that let me share these paintover processes today, as well as a thank you to each of you who watched this video. Hopefully you learned something new about shapes, or light, or design theory. You're welcome to offer your own critiques in the comments about my paintovers, or let me know if they matched up with what you would have changed. Okay, now just one last big thank you to all of the Patreons that support this channel. You guys are the best. See ya, everyone.